Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a totally normal podcast about films, Atom Path. Now, at the end of the last episode, the film that we had next time on didn't end up happening because the one choice was, I just didn't mentally feel like watching, and the other one I can't watch in my country right now. Yay, region locking. So instead, we watched... Leon, do you want to introduce the movie?
Yeah, I had one as backup, and it's totally different from the other two. The first one was Memory of Murder, and the other one was A Taxi Driver. Both Korean movies, which are both great. I watched both.
If A Taxi Driver does come to the UK, we'll absolutely watch it.
Nice. But yeah, we ended up doing something totally different, and it's Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Yeah. The name of the movie sounds pretty trashy.
This was very... I want to point out, this was very similar to One Cut for me, where for the first 20 minutes I was like, where is this going? Okay. And then something clicked, I was like, oh no, this film's amazing.
Yeah, I think horror is such a diverse genre.
Yes. I think the best horror movies and best horror themed movies are the ones that are written either by people who love horror or don't like horror, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people who love it know how to bend the tropes. The people who don't like it are going to write something different so it's not tropey.
Yeah.
We have 7 Paranormal Activity movies. None of them great.
Well, I like the first one.
I thought the first one's good, but
But after that,
seven.
it's just a rehearsal of the first formula.
Is it a bit like how the Saw sequels, it's the first one's great, and then it's each and every last one, it's oh no, someone's in a death trap.
Well, I like the first three Saw movies.
Yeah, that's the original Jigsaw trilogy. I need to watch them. I've watched the first. I just know it goes downhill.
Yeah, they are not as
yes.
good as the first, but the first is just
Claire and Leon versus horror movie sequels. Hey, at least it's not as bad as Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, where nothing really happens.
Oh, and I have to mention something. If you
may.
listen to our last episode, you may notice that I changed my ranking while re-ranking it in the end.
Oh yes, the story ranking. You were quite irritated about this. I remember you telling me.
Yeah, I think it just shows how pretentious we are.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the human mind is really fickle. I could wake up one day and be like, you know what? I like The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I don't. But one day I could. So shall we get into the movie?
Yeah.
So I think the best way to sum it up is it's a slasher comedy. If you like slasher movies, and if you like movies I say it's got a very similar sense of humour to films like Hot Fuzz, where it plays off Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead, where it plays off you knowing the tropes.
Yeah, and I think it's really good if you know movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, it's almost like a companion piece.
Yeah.
And if you're someone who watches slash movies, you know the stereotypes and stuff. and you hate them, you're gonna like this movie.
Yeah.
So
how should we start? Should we start just retelling the story, or should we...
shall we go into a just a basic just a basic description of the movie, then we just give our basic opinions, and then we go into the big thing? Because I feel like this is a very similar One Cut, where I think the best experience is if you don't really know how off the walls crazy this movie gets.
Yeah.
So Tucker and Dale versus Evil is about it's about two groups of characters. It's about a bunch of college students who are going away for Memorial Day weekend, for like a big old nice holiday away.
So the classic college students.
Yes. And at the same time, Tucker and Dale, two hillbilly bros.
Hillybillies.
Hillybillies and hillbilly bros are going to a log cabin to restore it and also just go fishing.
Yeah. You just want to have a pro weekend.
And due to a comical misunderstanding, the students think that Tucker and Dale have kidnapped one of their friends, when in reality Tucker and Dale have sort inadvertently caused her to fall and have taken her to heal her.
Yeah.
And what results is an incredibly long comedic string of events that I don't even know what more I could say. Just, if you like movies that just... I saw someone describe it as a Shakespearean comedy, where the humour works because you don't really care about the characters all that much.
Yeah.
I couldn't name, any of the college students.
Oh, they have great names. I can't...
Wait,
are
they all puns?
No. One name is Allison. Then we have Chad. Chloe,
Yeah, Allison and Chad.
Chloe, Chuck, Jason, Naomi, Todd, and Mitch and Mike. So really stereotypical names for college students. I don't mind if some of our listeners have those names, but the name Chad is kind of...
His name's Chad. But yeah. Leon, what was your general thoughts on this movie?
Well, I like it. That's why I recommended it. Which isn't always the case.
You've yet to recommend a bad movie yet. I will change that.
I can recommend the bad movie next time if you want. In fact, the worst movie I ever saw.
No, I've got a proposal I'll tell you after this for bad movies.
Okay.
So I liked it too.
I'm glad.
I think I preferred, if we're talking about, the last few horror movies we've watched, I definitely prefer One Cut as a comedy and just Trick or Treat as a movie.
Mm-hmm.
But this is one of those movies that, I think if I wanted a slasher movie and I'm feeling a little bit down, I'd watch it. It's very feel good.
Yeah, it's weirdly feel good.
It's a weirdly wholesome movie. Hell, I've even seen people say that this is a really good teenager's first slasher.
I think it's okay as a first slasher, but I think the experience is better if you know the tropes.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, just as an aside, if I'm gonna say what your first slasher should be, honestly, the original Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, because the original Halloween was the first slasher, right?
Yeah.
The first slasher that was called slasher. I know that there
Yeah,
were...
because Psycho was a slasher and Caligari's a slasher, but Halloween did it good.
It defined the genre.
Yeah.
What a weird word.
Okay. shall we get into the spoiler territory?
Yes.
Do you want to start off?
Okay. You had your chance. You could have turned the podcast down, watched the movie, and then listen to it again.
I'm sorry. I just want to say, can we? I did this in the one cut video in the one cut episode. Can we make it so that the first, like, one of the first things we say after the spoiler section is like the biggest spoiler in the movie?
Okay.
As in, welcome to you've been warned. Chad's the bad guy.
Yeah. Well, that's not the biggest plot twist or spoiler because he's kind of an asshole throughout the movie.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do it.
Okay. So first things first, what was your favorite kill? I counted through them and I think it's 13 kills. And only 4 females.
I think my favourite kill is probably when Tucker's doing the logs.
Oh yes.
And the guy tries to like push him in and falls in. From Tucker's perspective, some college student just jumped in his log chipper and he just starts freaking out trying to save it. But obviously at this point the guy's dead.
Yeah.
It's like a fucking adult Looney Tunes joke. It's something you'd see in Monty Python.
It's just complete chaos and mayhem.
And of course, from the student's perspective, he's fucking killing him.
Yeah.
What was yours?
The log one as well, but because you said it already, I choose the first of the college students who impales himself.
With the that's a good joke because he does the leather face thing.
Yeah. I don't know if it was Tucker or Dale, but one of them was sawing a log.
And he goes for the beehive.
Yeah. And then the bees attack him. And he runs away. But he has the chainsaw still on and waves it around and looks like a maniac. And the college
it's a reference to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It is. It looks exactly like Leatherface. And he's just running through the forest, and one of the college students thinks he's being attacked, and he runs and looks at him, and doesn't look what's in front of him, and he impales himself on a tree branch.
Quite deeply, too. It's... I will say, this the level of gore you'd expect in, like, a grindhouse horror. Like, this is, like... It's gruesome. Yeah. And it's very openly gruesome. But it kind of adds to the charm. I mean, I'm not a big fan when films are too gory, but there's a difference between Cannibal Holocaust and this.
Yeah. I think it's not a problem to laugh about those deaths because you're not emotionally detached. No, not detached.
Yeah, you're not attached
to them. Yeah.
It's the same reason why people find stuff like Happy Tree Friends funny.
Or Final Destination. For me, Final Destination was always a comedy and not a horror movie.
Oh, I love the Final Destination movies. So yeah, it's a bit weird to describe the plot of this film because it's almost like...
Well, it's the typical hillbilly horror, but told from the perspective of the hillbillies.
Who are innocent. There is a very key thing that throughout the whole film, Dale's got a whole thing of he doesn't feel confident about himself, or like And like when the girl he rescues Allison, and they slowly start falling in love.
Yeah, it's kind
Which
of
is why
cute.
it's why it's kind of a rom-com. But the weird thing to describe this plot is because of how it's set up. It's not. It's almost like there's just a series of scenes. You know, it's not. It's not like one cut where we talk about this thing, then we talk about that thing. It's almost like. So I think we might as well just go free range of talking about this film. You know.
Yeah. For example, we could talk about some of the misunderstandings. For me,
Yeah.
the first setup is really great. When we see the college friends who are happy, having a good time, and they are holding at a gas station, and
Yeah.
you see Tucker, who is buying some really weird stuff. You just listen to him in the background, how he's talking to the employee of the gas station and asks him for hooks and shovels and nails and a nail gun and all that stuff. Because they are going to renovate the house. That's why they need the stuff. And the hooks are for fishing. But it sounds pretty ominous.
Mm-hmm. And there's a really great setup here with, like, I want to specifically say, when they get to the house, there's a really great bit of setup where they discover that one of the wooden beams,
Yeah.
if you knock it, it causes, like, a plank with nails to come down. Which, of course, is how someone meets their rather untimely demise.
And maybe the person who died through those nails was the only one where I had a little bit of sympathy for.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he didn't deserve it. Most of the people in this movie deserve what they get, but not him. I think...
Oh, and I like the first time when Dale talks to Allison at the gas station as well. He's eating some eggs. I don't know why. He has a big bowl.
I do not understand the appeal of eating eggs. Just eggs.
Yeah, it's like were they fermented? How is it called?
They might have been pickled.
Pickled eggs. He's eating them. And he walks to Allison, and he has very low self-esteem, so Tucker tells him, just laugh, be friendly. Yeah, and because he's so nervous, he laughs like a maniac.
And they all think he's coming to, harass Allison, but really he's just trying to help, you know? So the whole film is basically about prejudice in relation to hillbillies and stuff.
Yeah. In school, we had once had a assignment where we had to retell fairy tales through the perspective of the evil guys, but make it so that they seem to be the good guys.
Ooh.
That was a really interesting assignment. I liked that.
I feel like I do Hansel and Gretel and just make it just like the witch is just a lovely old person being murdered by children.
Yeah. Yes. We had one example of the witch where the witch was the good one who took them and helped them, and because they were lazy and didn't help her, they had like this house arrest. And then one day they just pushed her in her oven while she was trying to cook something for them.
It's like the first she has a horror with Kang and Koto, so they think they're trying to eat them. But yeah, so Tucker and Dale, like, this whole film is just a massive misunderstanding pushed to its insanity.
Yeah. But
there are some amazing just gags and shit.
Yeah, and I think I like it because normally when there are movies with those big misunderstandings, they are like always bad for the main characters, like the main characters get misunderstood completely and they end up miserably. And that's what makes the comedy of those films. But I like that in this one, they are always sympathetic. Of course, what happens is gruesome, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not on their. We don't laugh at what is. How do
You're not laughing. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to. It's hard to describe.
Something I did want to say is towards the start of the film, Chad explains a story which is very important about how some amount of years ago, like 20 years ago, college students came to this woods and were murdered one by one by a hillbilly, and only one woman survived.
Yeah.
Which, of course, adds on to the tension. And it has this... What's funny is, if you look at the college students' misunderstanding, it's, they react quite, we must survive. While Tucker and Dale's misunderstanding is, after, the first sets of deaths, they start to think, oh god, are they on a suicide pact? And Tucker's immediate thing was hide short objects so that Alice doesn't kill herself.
Yeah.
And it's almost... They've had a wholesome misunderstanding. It's like, oh god, these people are going to kill themselves. How do we help them?
Yeah, they think it's a big suicide party.
And, oh god. So...
And I think it's really clever how they say they can't call the cops because the cops will turn on them as the...
Yeah.
Murderers.
Because, admittedly, pretty much all of the kills did look like murders.
Yeah, because they are aware about it,
Yeah, they know it looks dumb.
And when the police officer comes finally, they are tugging the half of the body of the guy who was in the what is it called?
In the wood chipper.
Yeah.
And they try to explain it, and he's just like, do you take me as idiot? Which is, of course, when he enters the house and goes into the beam and gets killed, even though they try to warn him.
And then there's more misunderstanding, and yeah.
Oh my god! Okay, the wood chipper shot's great, but the gun kills also amazing.
Oh yeah.
Because they're trying to, one of the college students is trying to shoot Tucker down the car, and Tucker fucking explains, like, dude, you've got the safety on. And he turns the gun around and he takes it off. And Tucker's like, no, you don't do that. But obviously by the time you say that, bang. And it's like, it's such a stupid thing, but yeah, someone would do that.
So yeah, one thing I like about this film is that it's not too long. It's just 89 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Does it outstay its welcome?
It doesn't. I think the start is a little bit better than the end, but I still liked all of it.
I think I liked it towards the middle. I think up until by the time it got to the end, it was just becoming like a normal slasher movie.
Yeah, because Chad is becoming.
Yeah, but I think the whole. I think basically everything up from the lake scene all the way up till the fire scene is just perfection.
Yeah.
That's not to say what's before and after is bad. Absolutely not.
No, of course not. It's just my opinion that I like the start and the middle more than the end.
Yeah.
But somehow they had to end the movie, and yeah.
I just want to say I've seen some like suggestions for things, because apparently the sequel to this movie they've had written for a while, but they haven't quite sure how to do it. Is Tucker and Dale go to Yale?
What? I didn't even know there was a sequel planned.
No, it's one of those things where, like, if that was one of the ideas, but I don't think they're ever going to do it.
Oh, okay.
But I saw a comment on Twitter, and they said, and I agree with this, the sequel should be Tucker and Dale versus the Universal Monsters.
Okay.
Because all the could you imagine, like, you know, like Frankenstein showing up and them just being incredibly friendly towards him?
Yeah, but I think that would be quite a stylistic break between this movie.
It would. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a filmmaker. Okay, so what? What is there more to say? There's we go through more of the kills.
Yeah, even if there's not that much more to say about this movie, because it is quite short, it has the typical tropes. I think we can even talk about something else, like what else we watched lately.
Yeah, sure.
But first, I think maybe we try to wrap this one now up. Because I think even if you heard it until now, I think it's always a great experience to watch the movie yourself.
Oh yeah. You should. Watching it blind is usually better, unless it's something utterly torturous.
Yeah, but I think this one, it's not as bad if you don't watch it blind, like One Cut. One Cut really needs you to watch it blindly.
But like this movie, you can get away with it.
Yeah. Because the visuals are quite... it's kind of a visual comedy.
Yeah, it's like a Looney Tunes thing.
Yeah.
For grown-ups.
Yeah.
And very, very violent. Which of course means it's adult, because, you know, violence equals grown-up.
Haha.
I'm taking the piss. Okay.
Should we rate it?
Yes, we shall. You go first.
Okay. I would give it... wait. 7. 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd say over a 7 or an 8. I think either 7 or 8 work. I think pretty good movie.
It is. It's short. It's fun. It's maybe a good Halloween movie if you want to watch it with people who don't usually watch Halloween movies or horror movies.
But yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, I still think Trick or Treat is the perfect Halloween movie, but yes. Okay.
Okay. What did you watch lately that we didn't discuss in the podcast?
I have went down a bit of a fucking rabbit hole lately.
What is it?
Because, oh yes, I'm just going to bring up... Yeah, if Tucker and Dale and Trick or Treat are good, you know, black comedies.
Yeah.
The creations of Charles Band from Full Moon Features are not. Think about Trick or Treat and how lovingly made it is, how interesting it is. You got Tucker and Dale and, you know, like how subversive it is and how much joy there is. And then you watch The Gingerbread Man. As a movie that is 17 minutes long, that feels like it's 4 hours long.
Which always tells you about the quality of a movie.
It's just really dull.
I don't understand how you are able to watch those movies all of the way through.
Because I have a horrible morbid curiosity, and I also just like play on my Nintendo Switch.
Okay, so yeah, okay. Then yeah. I thought you were watching them with fully focused on the movie.
Oh God, no! I die.
Like there are trash movies that are great, like Zombieber. I love Zombieber.
Zombiever is amazing. And but like, okay, there are trash movies that are great, and then there's like the evil Bong movies where it's just an excuse to make a shitty movie, smoke weed, and make racist jokes, and be very sexist.
Well.
Oh? Like, there's ways to make good, bad movies.
Yeah.
Hell, Plan 9 from Outer Space is far more watchable than The Ginger Dead Man.
Yeah, I think there are, like, four categories. Like, movies that are so bad that it's really fun to look at. Like, the filmmakers didn't intend them to be bad, like Plan 9
and The Room.
Those are the two examples I can think of. Maybe even, I think it's called Birdemic.
Oh yeah, you know what? I would personally also throw in Spider-Man 3.
Okay.
As a so bad it's good movie.
Okay, I wouldn't put it on the same level as The Room.
Okay, it isn't on the same level, but like as a less extreme example.
Yeah, okay. Okay, that's the first category. Then the second is bad movies where people intended them to be good, but they are just not. And they are not bad enough to be considered
So
funny.
they're just bad movies, so like...
Just bad movies.
Like the Amazing
Like
Spider-Man
the movie
2.
I may suggest.
Oh God.
Soon.
Yeah, movies that are like... I think there's a bit of a key difference between movies you don't personally enjoy and bad movies.
No. The one I will talk about is objectively a bad movie.
Oh,
and it's not bad enough to be considered funny. It's just bad. And that's the worst type of bad.
Like all of those insert genre here movies, so like disaster movie, epic movie, date movie. I mean, the first Scary Movie was good, but you know, those kind of movies.
No, I don't mean them, because they are designed to be shitty. The movie I was talking about isn't designed to be shitty. It's just shitty. Okay. So that's what you are talking about is category 3. Shitty movies that are designed to be shitty, like trash movies that are just not funny. And then there are trash movies that are really funny.
Okay, so we've got so bad it's good. We've got it tried to be bad and it is bad.
Yeah.
We got they tried to make a purposely bad movie and fucked up so terribly it's just painful, like The Ginger Dead Man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to suggest another category, which is it's just boring. Like, there's nothing particularly wrong with the movie, you know. It's a perfectly watchable movie, but it's just it's just watchable, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like so. I'm going to give an example here. Ghostbusters 2016. That is not.
Didn't watch it.
It's not a bad movie. I don't particularly want to watch it ever again.
You watched it?
Yeah, I did in the cinemas. I watched. My mum got it on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
It was. The whole time I was sitting there like, I could just be watching the original Ghostbusters, which is a superior movie in every way.
Well, I heard good things about the new one.
Afterlife.
Yeah, it's really weird. In Germany, we have a different title.
Okay.
But it's also in English. Like,
okay.
Like, what the hell? We have for us, it's not Afterlife, it's Legacy.
That is weird.
Yeah, and then, what is the Spider-Man movie called?
No Way Home?
No, the one with Miles.
Into the Spider-Verse?
To the Spider-Verse. Wait a minute. I have to watch for the German version. A New Universe. It's just called A New
But
Universe.
there's a pun there! Oh, and one of my one of my worst examples of this is the most recent Pirates of the Caribbean, which has the perfectly fine title in the States of Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Oh, yeah.
Which was decided to be changed to the UK release to Salazar's Revenge, which is a terrible title considering Salazar was introduced in this movie.
Yeah. And for some reason, Germans said, let's go with the UK version. It's Salazar's Rache.
The only rename of a movie recently that I completely understand was Zootropolis, because I think it's like there's a Dutch zoo that's actually called Zootopia, and they've got the copyright of the name.
Oh, something similar happened here. I think it's Moana.
Yeah.
You know? In Germany it's called Vaiana because there is a porn actress who is called Moana. Like Moan. Moan. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I get that. That's not my least favourite naming thing here, and, you know, I'm trying to keep it a little relevant to horror right now, but, like, this works, because the most recent offender of this is the upcoming Scream movie, which, in spite of the fact being the 5th Scream movie, is being called Scream.
Well, the new Halloween movie was also called Halloween.
Despite being a sequel.
Yeah.
It's like, either number it, or if you can't number it, give it like a subtitle. The only time it's excusable is if it's a reboot.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, I'm going to watch the new Halloween series. Okay, so what film are you going to watch? You're going to watch Halloween. It's like, wait, did you say that movie twice? No, there's Halloween and then there's Halloween. But not the remake Halloween. The sequel Halloween. But not Halloween 2.
I think we just have to stick to the title and the year.
Yeah.
In future.
The thing is, they were going with this whole subtitle thing for Halloween, so called it Halloween Returns.
Yeah. Halloween Resurrection. Halloween.
No, I'm pretty sure Halloween Resurrection's already a movie.
Oh shit.
Halloween, 20 years later. That's a real movie. It's called H2O.
Ah, shit.
Hey, look.
Well,
if it makes you feel better, Halloween 3 has nothing to do with the other Halloween movies. So.
Yeah, I know. And then they were like, oh gosh, this one flopped. We have to go back. Bring Michael back. And then they brought him back.
And then they brought him back.
And they brought him back. Then they finally killed him.
And then they brought him back.
And then they brought him back.
Okay, I've got a potentially controversial opinion here. I love the original Halloween. I think the original Halloween's a great movie. Michael Myers is a really fucking boring slasher villain.
Yeah, but he doesn't... In the first film, he doesn't need to be interesting.
Yeah, because that's the terror of the movie. He's just... It's a home invasion slasher.
It's just... He's just a killing machine.
But then as the sequels went on, and they've got to like try and make up excuses as to why he keeps coming back. It's like, oh, he's like a demon curse thing. It's like, no. Freddy Krueger's interesting. Freddy Krueger has a voice.
And he's getting funnier every movie.
Jason Voorhees is interesting because he's already undead.
Yeah.
Michael Myers is just very fucking boring.
But to be honest, none of their names sound scary at all. Like Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, and Jason Voorhees. They could be your elementary school kids.
Yeah. And then then you got fucking Pinhead, the Xenomorph, the Predator, the Crooked Man.
Aren't they are going to do a Pinhead, a Hellraiser remake.
Oh yes, they are.
Right?
Yes.
Hollywood is clearly running out of original ideas.
Look, there's 8 Hellraiser movies. I think it's either that or they make another sequel, and apparently we don't want a sequel.
Yeah, but to be honest, every movie that's made nowadays is like a superhero movie.
Mm-hmm.
Another big franchise. Then we had a time where it was really popular to do those teeny books, like where they called?
Oh fuck!
After Panem.
Young adult fantasy stuff.
Yeah, The Hunger Games.
I'm sorry, I'm about to just describe.
Divergent, Maze Runner.
I'm about to describe
What?
5 different movie franchises here. I am a young, typically female protagonist, occasionally male. I'm trapped in a love triangle. My world is dystopian, and despite the fact that I'm impoverished and on the verge of death, I'm conventionally attractive. Also, I'm a master of every form of combat. I have just described The Hunger Games, Divergent, The Maze Runner. I actually haven't watched The Maze Runner. I just don't like Divergent.
Me too. But maybe I was a little bit too fast because I heard good things about the Maze Runner franchise. But it's just, it was like every teen thing.
At least we're not in rom-coms that are just fucking depressing.
Yeah.
Although, okay, if we're going to go into another trend of horror reboots, which it looks like we are with the recent Chucky series and, the new Hellraiser and Halloween stuff.
Candyman was good.
I haven't watched the new Candyman. Can we get a Friday the 13th movie and a Nightmare on Elm Street movie that does something interesting with the franchise?
Maybe a Saw movie that does something interesting with the franchise, like they promised the last 2 times.
And failed both times.
Jigsaw would be... Jigsaw, it just looked so promising.
And it wasn't good.
And then they did Spiral, and it looked so promising. And it was even worse.
My idea for a Nightmare on Elm Street movie would just be... make it a psychological horror. It's a film about nightmares. Exploit that.
Yeah. Just do something good.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Hey, at least they aren't doing shot-for-shot remakes anymore.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think America still does that.
For fuck's sake, no.
Not shot for shot, but I don't know what is...
They're doing a remake of Train to Busan, aren't they?
Yeah, they are doing that. I think they did this... what is it called in English? It was with Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart.
I have no idea.
Wait... Bryan Cranston. What was it called?
Don't worry about it if you can't find it.
No, I found it. It's called The Upside. The Upside.
Oh.
And there was a French original called The Untouchables. And to be honest, The Upside isn't a bad movie. I saw both, but the the French version was perfectly fine. It was an amazing movie.
Yeah, like, but it's not in English, so everyone's afraid of it. And I hate that mentality.
Yeah.
Like, fuck's sake, just read. Or watch the dub.
Yeah, but I heard English dubs aren't as good as...
No, they're often rushed.
Because in Germany we have a huge culture around dubbing. Like, we dub a lot, and I think that's why the German dubbing is quite far.
Yeah, I think I heard. So I haven't actually watched this yet, but I think I heard that like Squid Game's English dub misses some really good big subtext and stuff.
Yeah, I saw some clips and I thought they were fake.
Oh.
To be honest, I'm more of a fan of watching stuff subbed, but in German cinemas, almost every movie is in German.
Mm-hmm.
So also dubbed, so it's really hard to find the original versions, but I always try to go into the originals because I just prefer that. But it's okay. I think as long as it gets people into movies like Parasite and stuff.
Yeah, obviously, some Disney Supreme like version to watch it, but watch it whatever way you can. Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we wrap up this podcast?
We can wrap it up.
Well, thank you so much for listening to us ramble about movies for like 20 minutes and then also talk about Soccer Down. Great movie, just... It's like trying to explain a Looney Tunes short. You know, it's hard to explain comedy because slapstick... You've got to see.
Yeah.
Next time... just because of our own schedules and stuff, and I'd quite like us both to be able to get a Christmas movie in. We will be... It's my suggestion, and we will be watching my favourite Christmas movie ever. The Muppets Christmas Carol. Yes, not just any Christmas Carol. The Muppets Christmas Carol. I fucking love this movie.
I'm really looking forward to it because I think I only saw some clips.
Have you not seen the whole thing? Oh my god.
No, I saw the Christmas Carol, of course. A lot of interpretations.
But not the Muppet version.
But not the Muppets.
I will say there's something very important I'm going to say about the movie. I'm just going to check something. Because I know there was a rumour. Basically, to explain something, this is something I will talk about in the podcast. There's a famous cutscene in the Muppet Christmas Carol. And,
okay.
I'll probably not, and I might, if it's not in, obviously I'll talk about whether it is or not on the Disney Plus version. But basically, this cut song does kind of make the movie worse if you don't have it.
Okay.
It's like it's a really important scene they removed for some reason. And I think the Disney Plus version re-added it, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm very excited. And I'm excited to hear what you've got to suggest.
But I won't suggest it now.
No, not yet. I will say I very
Not
nearly
yet.
suggested the Star Wars Holiday Special.
And that's why we stop now. I don't want to talk anymore about this abomination.
Thank you for watching, listening, tasting, and yeah. If anyone's still watching this in the future. Why? No, thank you. We will see you next time. This has been Claire.
I won't see them. I won't see the people.
Bye.
But yeah, till next time. Bye.
Bye.